Rafael Eitan, Israeli soldier and 11th Chief of Staff of the Israel Defense Forces. On November 23, 2004, Rafael Eitan, the 11th Chief of Staff of the Israel Defense Forces, was laid to rest after a drowning accident at the port of Ashdod on Israel's coast. That same day, Seth Cohen, a fictional character on Fox Broadcasting Company's hit TV series that year, The O.C. Orange County, walked along the California coast and pondered his world of insecurity and paralyzing self-doubt. These two Jewish role models, the former real and the unique, and the latter fictional but quite common in the real American Jewish scene, could not have been more different. Seth Cohen was one of the lead characters on The O.C., Fox Network's hit TV series from between 2003 and 2007. Seth was described on the network's official website as a socially awkward, friendless misfit, who was the son of Sandy Cohen, a socially conscious Jewish public defender, and Kristen, a wealthy California shishka goddess. The hit series, which ran in the USA and around the world, including in Israel, proved to be the early 21st century's answer to Beverly Hills 90210 and Melrose Place. The basic storyline was that do-gooder Sandy Cohen brought home from juvenile court one day a tough delinquent with a good heart named Ryan, who was then adopted by the family. Seth, the quintessential Jewish dork, was excited to finally have a cool friend, and a show followed their exploits together in the affluent Orange County, California. In an episode entitled The Best Chrismukkah Ever, Seth, wearing a sweater festooned with reindeer, explained to Ryan that he did not need to choose between the birth of Jesus and the 8 days of light, because the Cohen home they celebrated Chrismukkah. Seth explained how this combined festival was a super holiday of gifts and presents. In another episode, Ryan, who knew how to fight to protect his honor, and often did, promised Miss Cohen that he wouldn't get into any more fights. Later in that show, he kept this promise when an altercation broke out and he refused to defend himself. As Ryan lay beat up on the floor, Seth ran over to comfort his stepbrother and said, "You just got the crap beat out of you, and you did not fight back. Now you're a real Cohen." Halfway around the world from Newport Beach in Israel's Jezreel Valley, Rafael Eitan, 75, was laid to rest on November 23, 2004, after he died in a drowning accident at the port of Ashdod, where he was supervising the building of a new pier. Rafael, as he was known to everyone in Israel, would not have passed Seth Cohen's tests for entry into the OC's Cohen clan. Eitan was a fearless fighter and a Hebrew warrior who never doubted the Jewish people's right to a national homeland and dedicated his life to winning and defending Israel's independence. Rafael was born in 1929 on Moshav Tel Adashim in the Jezreel Valley, where he was weaned on the love of Zionism and Jewish labor. Throughout his life, he remained a farmer rooted in the soil of the Hebrew homeland, as well as an accomplished carpenter. At the age of 16, he joined the Palmach, the elite commando unit of the pre-Jewish state Haganah, underground, and fought in Israel's 1948 War of Independence. It was during the Battle of San Shimon in May 1948 that Rafael learned one of his most important lessons. 120 Jewish fighters faced thousands of Iraqi and Arab soldiers in a battle that would decide the fate of the new city of Jerusalem, and perhaps of the entire Jewish state. Holed up in a Greek monastery, the Palmach fighters lost 40 comrades and had 60 wounded in their fierce battle. Unable to evacuate the wounded and facing capture and mutilation in enemies' hands, the Palmach soldiers contemplated a Masada-like suicide. However, a fellow officer named Benny Marshak convinced his comrades to fight on with the words, "When it rains, not only you get wet. Eventually the Arabs broke and retreated, and the battle was won, saving the new city of Jerusalem and perhaps all of Israel. Rafuel learned that whenever you're caught in a tough battle, the enemy is also having a tough time, and whichever side perseveres will win. Perseverance and determination in battle, called Devikut in Hebrew, became Rafuel's greatest legacy. In the 1956 Sinai campaign against Egypt, Rafuel served as a paratroop officer in Sahel, Israel Defense Forces, and courageously led the country's only parachute drop into battle. The soldiers who fought under his command said that he was fearless in battle and always led by personal example. Rafuel, wounded 4 times in combat, fought bravely in the 1967 Six-Day War, and in 1968 led a gutsy commando raid on the Beirut airport in retaliation for Arab terrorist hijackings. During that attack, Rafuel is said to have entered a Beirut airport coffee shop, where he calmly ordered drank a cup of coffee and paid the bill in Lebanese currency, all in the midst of the battle. In 1973, during the Yom Kippur War, Rafuel was divisional commander in the Golan Heights, and using the lesson learned in San Shimon, in 1948, he helped his soldiers persevere and push back the Syrian onslaught. Rafuel would lead Israeli forces to within 25 kilometers of Damascus, and he brought Israel victory in a war that at first almost saw Israel's destruction. In 1978, Rafael Eitan was appointed the 11th Chief of Staff of Israel's Defense Forces, and in that capacity directed the controversial 1982 Lebanon War, during which Yasser Arafat and thousands of PLO terrorists were ousted from Israel's northern border. General Eitan believed in strict military discipline, yet he had a soft spot in his heart for the underprivileged youth of Israel. He loved his people no less than he loved his homeland. As Chief of Staff, he initiated a special program in Sahel called Na'arei Rafuel, Rafuel's Boys, to help these young men enlist in the army and integrate successfully into Israeli society. Rafuel's home was always open to Israel's youth, and today thousands of graduates of Na'arei Rafuel mourn the death of a fearless warrior whose caring heart gave their lives hope and a brighter future. After leaving the army, Eitan served in the Israeli Knesset for almost 16 years as Knesset member, Minister of Agriculture, and Deputy Prime Minister. A man of few words but many deeds, he fought against political and religious corruption in Israel, led the war on drug abuse, lobbied to strengthen the Jewish settlements he felt were vital to Israel's security, and demanded that all Israel's citizens serve in the Israeli Defense Forces. He quit politics in 1999 and returned to his home in the Jezreel Valley to harvest olives. He became project manager for a new breakwater being built in Ashdod. It was there that he met his death during the stormy weather of November 2004. It is perhaps fitting that no enemy except nature itself could ever defeat this fearless Hebrew centurion in battle. 2,000 years ago, our people faced religious persecution and extinction at the hands of the Seleucid Greeks. Judah the Maccabee, a great Jewish warrior, won our people their freedom and independence back then. We mark that victory every year by celebrating the Festival of Lights, known as Hanukkah. Judah the Maccabee was a Cohen by family clan, but I'm sure he would have been ashamed to meet the real-life assimilated Jews like Seth Cohen, who desecrate our most meaningful traditions and pride themselves on their weakness and cowardice. It has been proud, strong Jews like Judah the Maccabee and Rafael Eitan that have always illuminated our people's way and given us true role models to emulate. When Hanukkah comes around next, Jews would do well to seek inspiration in the light of Jewish heroes like Rafael, and not be blinded by the lights of assimilation and the OC.